Welcome, everyone, to our seventh interview in the Internet Capital interview series with key founders in the crypto space. Recently, we've been focused on AI and DeFi, and today we have Renç Korzay, the CEO of Giza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Todd. Thank you so much for having me. Also, really appreciate the great work that you have been doing. I've been following the series, and every one of them has been a good taste. And yeah, very excited to be here. Happy to kick things off.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Well, the question I ask everyone first is, tell me your background. How did you get from wherever you were, which I kind of did a little Google stalking, and you had a very unique background into AI and crypto.
Yeah. Well, I come from a product and digital marketing background. Before founding Giza, I was head of product at Johnson & Johnson for about 5 years, where I led the end-to-end product development and go-to-market strategies about 15 different brands, 30 different markets, at a team of about 40 people. Before that, I was at Electronic Arts, the video gaming company, and I was one of the few that helped push FIFA 2018 to the world. And before that, I was in Sony Electronics, again, in a head of product position. So, like, my general passion comes from building products and building teams that takes on complex challenges and tries to push boundaries of where we are. My transition to crypto and Web3 started with speculation, financial speculation, a couple of years back, as I think we all did. And once we were humbled by the markets, had the time to dive deeper into the technology and really understand the transformational part of decentralized systems and infrastructures. And there, we started asking the question of, especially when it comes to Giza, what can be done in this ecosystem to bring innovation at an application layer and an infrastructure layer. And for us, there has been this feeling of claustrophobia in Web3, where a lot of the products, a lot of the user experiences, and a lot of the outcomes has been very similar. So we started questioning, what is the enabling mechanism to change this?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we came to Giza.
I gotcha. It's interesting to me that Johnson & Johnson, Electronic Arts, and Sony are extreme consumer-facing companies.
Yeah.
And at least until extremely recently, crypto is not consumer facing. It's degen. And even now, I see AI tokens by the base guys, and they show demos that you have to go onto your terminal on your computer. And I'm like, that's not how it needs to be to get to real consumers.
Yeah, totally. That's spot on. And like, as you mentioned, Todd, like, up until this point, and hopefully we are looking to change that, there's always this like trade-off between in Web3 between having a good product comes with having a huge cognitive burden. Like, you cannot have a great user experience and a great product at the same time. And that level of information asymmetry is also creating this result, because
Yep.
then you only serve people who can understand fully your product and everything else.
Yep.
And then you leave the majority of the people without the same information. So it's just like incentivizes, zero-sum games and speculative behavior.
Yes, exactly. We're going to jump into the technology in more detail in just a minute. But again, just for me, I like to hear about the genesis moment for Giza. Were you in a coffee shop? Were you with friends? When did the spark happen to do this?
It's a really good question. I have two co-founders, and I'm really, really lucky to have both of them, because it's really important to have people that push you to be better, who are complementary. One of them is actually my childhood friend, which I've known for 25 years.
Wow.
And he's the greatest mechanism designer that I've worked with. He has a finance and economics background. He was one of the first people who actually built the first bonding curve mechanisms in Web3. and went on to design multiple protocols and tokens. His name is Jem. The other partner I have is Fran. He lives in Madrid, similar to where I do. And the genesis moment was him reaching out to me for a Web3 event that he was organizing here, and looking for someone to give a talk on those events. And it was through LinkedIn, and I never looked into LinkedIn. And it was a random message that made me meet him and gave this talk. And after this talk, we started talking about this, machine learning background that he has and how to bridge the gap. And he was already working at Giza, on the idea of Giza. And then I was able to bring both of them together. Fran is also an incredible developer, especially on the machine learning side. Before founding Giza with me, he was head of machine learning at Adidas. And before that, he was head of machine learning at BBVA, which is one of the biggest banks in Europe. And through him, we were able to steal most of his teammates in Adidas and BBVA. And I think, unlike most of the teams in this intersection of AI and crypto, we are more AI, we are more machine learning heavy, where we have a team of data scientists and engineers who has built machine learning solutions that serve millions of people in fintech and consumer goods. And that is like the genesis point. It was a Web3 event.
So that's very interesting, and particularly hearing the composition of employees. It seems like the core group did not grow up writing Solidity. They grew up using whatever tools to do AI and data analytics, and you contract out or you do whatever to get the Solidity code. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, we don't have to contract out because it's much easier to explain and onboard people to blockchain and Solidity. So it's much easier to onboard a machine learning engineer to Web3 than a Web3 developer to machine learning. And I am extremely, extremely grateful and lucky to have a team of incredible individuals who made this leap so fast, and who were able to bring so much of their expertise to Web3 so quickly in such a pragmatic fashion that it wasn't really not a burden, but it was a fun experience to watch them evolve.
That's awesome. So how big is your team in total then?
We are 10.
10. That's okay. That's a good size. And the thing that has been shocking to me, being kind of another generation, is the distributed nature of all these teams. And I guess the tools now make that happen, but it doesn't seem to hurt productivity.
It doesn't seem to hurt productivity. We are 5 in Madrid. So we have like a central hub in Madrid. I'm very much I'm very much more keen towards letting people do what they love in whatever environment they want to do it. Because I think as people working in Web3 and especially within Giza, we are very, very fortunate to support ourselves and our families and our loved ones by doing something we love. And I think that's like such a luxury in the real world aspects. So we let people work wherever they want to work from. And it is distributed, as you mentioned. But every quarter or so, we have team offsites where we bring everyone in. And for a week or two, we all work from the same space. And you cannot really replace that. Once everybody's in the same space, like the creative flow and the energy and the back and forth is unparalleled.
Absolutely. That's awesome. All right. Well, let's jump into the tech. That's why we're here, right? So 3 sentences or less. Tell me what Giza and Arma are.
For sure. So Giza is the intelligence layer for Web3 that anybody can participate in, where complex financial operations, they disappear and opportunities come live. This is the most straightforward way of explaining what we do. If we have to kind of like double click on that, we started going towards like the development of Arma and financial agents and agentic applications started with like one fundamental question that we asked ourselves a couple of months ago, where we have this world within Web3, and one of the differentiating factors of Web3 is it's a market that never sleeps. It's constantly going, and compared to traditional markets. So why do we still rely on humans to execute financial operations in a market that never sleeps? Was the question that we started with. And the more we dove into it, the reality sink in where there's this constant monitoring, decision making, execution, fragmentation. It creates this impossible cognitive burden that we discussed in the beginning of this conversation. Yep. And it also hinders the adoption of blockchain and its protocols and its ecosystem. So for us, the Holy Grail is a solution that allows for complexity to fade into the background while keeping opportunities accessible. And this is what we build, and this is what Giza agents are. So at a user level, Giza agents, they enable non-custodial, safe automation of complex on-chain strategies. Beyond users, for protocols and ecosystems and blockchain as an infrastructure that we work on, Giza agents has a transformative effect that I really love, because we put the humans, we take the humans from an executor position to an orchestrator position. And that unlocks a lot of things. What you necessarily do is you take one passive node, which is a user, that takes their funds and moves them to a protocol or a pool and leaves it there without any traction or transaction for 2-3 months. There's this level of entity. And we transform that into an entity that is moving 24/7, that never sleeps, that is constantly looking for optimized ways to move that money in a sophisticated manner. And that creates 10 times, 20 times more transactions for the protocols that we work with and the ecosystems that we work with as well. So, and for the institutions that we work with, we offer automated treasury management and all of those things. The more I talk to protocols, the more I talk to ecosystems, the more I talk to institutions and users, like yourself, you have been so kind to do an incredible usability test with us. It is clear to me that we are fundamentally changing how blockchain operates, and how users interact with it. And going back to the Arma question, Arma is the first instance of this broader vision. It is our first agent that enables 24/7 automated stablecoin yield optimization across multiple lending protocols. So we go from a reality where a user has to come into an ecosystem, onboard themselves to different DeFi protocols, understand the complex interfaces, the mechanisms, sign 30 different transactions to go from A to B, and then having to constantly monitor all of these protocols to understand where the most profitable position is, to a point where they can fund Arma, and Arma scans the ecosystem continuously. It identifies strategies and profitable positions a user can be taken to. During its identification, it takes multiple variables into account, where it evaluates the APR, it evaluates protocol rewards, it evaluates ecosystem rewards, and it combines those with cost variables that a user should take into account, but it is inhumane to take into account, like gas fees, swap fees, slippage, pool depth, all of those things. And through the combination of those mathematics, it moves the user's funds in an optimized fashion. And we have deployed its beta version on Mode Network.
Yep.
And it has been a really, really great place to incubate. Arma is currently managing 200K of user capital. It has executed close to 2,000 optimized transactions without any human intervention. And I think that's such a great place to look from the lens, because everybody right now is talking about AI agents and AI in crypto, and now DeFi AI agents. Yep. And we have something that works, that is ready to scale, and I'm quite proud and excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump into Arma, but my experience using it as sort of a beginner to medium level crypto person is that it literally does what you say. Um, on non-Arma things, daily, I have my spreadsheet, right? And you check it.
Yeah.
So for Arma, literally once a week, I say, "Oh, I should go check it," and I, check it because I still do that,
Yeah.
and then I forget about it, and it's
Yeah.
getting me yield. And I think that it's for the people even simpler than me, it's perfect for that. And just another note, you guys obviously have done a great job on your interface on it. It is literally like having your hand held, walking through these sorts of things, which for me, because this was just a few months ago, when you click buttons, it's very scary in crypto, right? You click the wrong
Yeah.
button, money's
Yeah.
gone. So it was a
Yeah.
very, very easy and comforting experience. So you guys have done a great job on that.
Next time, so right now we have iterated quite a lot on the
Yep.
UI and UX from the one that you tested.
Mm,
Um, I would love to get you to test the new version once the development is done. It has
absolutely.
increased. It is improved so much, and it is evolved so much as a product. But it still does the same things that you mentioned. And we have a great product lead in Patty that you also talk to. She's one of the most brilliant product designers I've ever worked with, and what she's building is like nothing like this exists in Web3.
Right. I agree. Um, so diving hard back in the technology, what was the hardest part about training Arma?
Yeah. So the hardest part of Arma was not necessarily like the training parts, but there's a lot of complex systems that we need to build to have something like Arma. It really is not as simple as take this and move it there and move it here. What we have built is a generalized product that is very much tailored to each individual. So having both of those things is super difficult to get in a secure, scalable, and performant way. Um, every user gets an instance of Arma. So every user has their agent. So this is one of the differentiating factors
Okay.
where it is not a vault-like system where all of the money is pulled in one place. So you're very much getting your own agent that moves that manages your money based on your preferences, based on your size, and based on everything else that comes with it. Um, the current version is going to have a level of personalization as well, which we are super excited about. So what this infrastructure allows is that once as we are serving retail and institutions, every entity has a different risk appetite, a different size that comes with different requirements. But our architecture allows for that personalization. You can tell Arma that I want to only interact with protocols that has a TVL above 500 million. Or you can tell I only want to get returns between 5 to 8% and keep me in safe places. Or you can go super degen and you can tell it like, do whatever you want, but just get me the best returns. And building something like that has a lot of nuances that needs to be built individually, but these nuances also needs to dance together in harmony. So that was quite an interesting challenge to take. And if you want to go deeper, you can go you can go deeper as well.
No, I want to ask a follow-up to what you said that I really didn't realize, and that I literally have my own Arma agent. Right now,
Yes.
that agent is just moving around USDC.
Yes.
The eventual goal, it seems like, is, as you progress, well, that could manage my portfolio that I give to it.
Yes.
And it could have ETH and LRTs and whatever. And
Yes.
I could click on my parameters, magic happens, and it manages my portfolio. That is
Exactly.
that what I heard you say?
Exactly. So you get your own agent, and this agent its logic is tailored to you. So if you have 5K in Arma and I have 1K in Arma, it will not take your money to the same places as mine. So it will never take your money to a pool that has a depth of 10K, for example, because
Yeah.
you will break the pool. But if a user has 100K or $50 or $100, it will take the funding to those places. And the end goal is to have a series of these specialized agentic applications. There's Arma now, but there's going to be something else relatively soon. There's going to be something else relatively soon, and you will have your Meta Giza agent that does what you explained. You can come there, you can give your LRTs, you can create a leverage position.
Yep.
You can, in the meantime, go risk off and use Arma for stablecoin yields. But the idea is very much anti-fragmentation and abstraction of complexity, while giving you the best of what Web3 provides, which is incredible DeFi products that are not so tailored to humans currently, but they
Right.
can be.
Right. Okay. I love that. So you mentioned that Arma takes into account protocol rewards, ecosystem rewards, and sort of the dynamics of money flow. Um, you almost does it go out like those change daily in some cases, or
Yeah.
more than one? Does it go out and monitor those things
Yes.
and make its decisions?
Yes, it's constantly monitoring these things. And this additional layer of evaluation is also something quite important for Arma, because it doesn't just necessarily put you in a pool that has the highest return. If, for example, pool A has 7% APR and pool B has 5% APR, but it has additional, for example, OP rewards and additional protocol rewards,
Yep.
it calculates that. And if pool B that has 5% APR but has the additional rewards is more profitable, it takes you there. And not only it takes you there, but it also harvests those rewards for you. So it's like this is exciting at a single chain environment, but Giza agents and Arma is going to be cross-chain relatively soon. So imagine a scenario where you don't necessarily need to think about where the best rewards are across Web3, where the most incentivized pools are. And there's an agent that is constantly scanning it for you and then putting you in the best position for it. Imagine where you don't ever have to miss a great incentivized pool, whether that's like, for example, Arlo pool or Aave pool or Morpho pool, whatever it is. And you're constantly making the best of Web3 and DeFi. This is what I mean by putting like the complex financial operations to the background and making opportunities accessible to everybody, because these opportunities currently are accessible to the people who are able to keep up with it and who are able to understand it. And that's such a nuanced audience. But if we can open it up, the playing field, and level everything out, there's going to be so much more movement and so much more liquidity and so many more users. And that's what I mean by we are changing what blockchain can offer fundamentally.
So I love that. And I'm going to follow up with two questions there. I read in your documentation about auto compounding, and I assume that is the act of claiming rewards, swapping them for whatever the base token is. That makes sense.
This is also a decision and a personalization we are giving to the user. The user can dictate if they want auto compound or they want to accumulate OP tokens or whatever tokens.
Gotcha. And I assume, for example, you're going to eventually go to places that have illiquid tokens. They're just incentivizing. We'll just accumulate those on our dashboard, and when they TGE, they're ours, and we can do with it what we want. But we don't have to worry about all that stuff. So
you don't have to worry about it.
Concrete example. The super chain now has
Yeah.
these mechanics for very easily going across all the different L2s on the super chain. And for me, I'm thinking, well, I'm excited about Inc, Kraken's new L2, because maybe they're going to be the next Coinbase, the next base. I don't want to learn all
Yeah.
this shit about Kraken and lending protocols and where to put my USDC and ETH. Is that something that Arma will soon be able to help me with?
Totally.
Okay.
Like for us, all Giza agents and Arma, it's super extensible and super agile. For us to add another network, not significant work. For us to add another protocol, it's not significant work. What matters is that those ecosystems and networks have mature DeFi ecosystems that
Yep.
provides users with attractive returns. But yes, you won't have to worry about anything like that moving forward.
Wow. Wow. Well, for users like me, that's awesome. I wanted to ask one kind of detailed question about Arma that
For sure.
I read it has the ability to do swaps between USDC, USDT.
Yeah.
Is that feature like, do you have any information on how much that feature is used? Because I do see disparities between those two things, two coins.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So currently it has like on the mode ecosystem. It very much, first of all, it depends very much on the ecosystem whether there's like a need to swap tokens or not for Arma. For mode, there's like USDC pools and USDT pools, and we have the Velo integration where the agent can go to Velo and swap from one token to the other. And even if you deposit USDC, it can, if there's a better opportunity for a USDT pool, it will swap your USDC to a USDT and it will deposit it to a USDT pool on the ecosystem. And not only that, but when you want to deactivate or when you want to collect your yield, it will unroll your position and it will swap it back and get you back to USDC. And this is something that the agent is currently doing and it will continue to do so. And this will also become much more interesting once you go multi-chain and cross-chain. Once there are more dynamic, ecosystem plays that you can make, and like DAI, USDC, USDT, whatever you think of, SUSDE.
Yep.
It's like a lot of fun.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I want to ask one more question before we move on to what's next. So when are caps going to be raised again?
This week.
Okay. That's awesome. That may be the biggest alpha because it's like you open the caps and 15 minutes later they're filled.
Yes, like the demand has been super humbling. Really, really appreciate it. As we were talking about, like people are looking for something tangible and meaningful in this intersection of AI crypto that goes beyond speculation. Even though speculation is great, speculation drives economical growth that gives way to innovation. So it's a part of the game. But I think people are already oversaturated with the current agents and launch pads that are coming up, and they want to use a better product. They want to use a new product. They want a new experience, and we are going to give it to them.
Awesome. So looking forward, it seems like you've got this USDT, USDC thing nailed. You know how to expand it. Is the next step another token like ETH optimization, or is it more of a portfolio kind of thing? Where are you going next?
Yeah, so next we are going to expand Arma to other prominent ecosystems, and we're going to integrate with few top-notch key protocols, and we're going to make it the shelling point of stablecoin yield optimization.
Okay.
Very much the vision is we come to a point where all stablecoin yields they flow through Arma, and Arma is orchestrating liquidity across chains. That is something that we are super excited about. In January, this expansion is going to take place, and we're going to be able to serve much more people, and also get more user feedback from people like yourself. And that is super exciting. Going beyond Arma, we're going to take it cross-chain relatively soon. That is also super exciting. And we're looking into building the next Giza agent. That is going to be, we're looking into LRTs, as you mentioned. We are really good partners who wants to build stuff there. But we're also looking into more specialized and nuanced flows as well, like drives on certain protocols, how they can be automated. There's also a very interesting playing field there that has a lot of attention. Beyond that, we like the amount of use cases that you can create with Giza agents is unlimited. And there's like so many things you can automate, and there's so many things you can optimize in DeFi that we cannot possibly do all of them. We are building an SDK for developers and other people to build Giza agents that uses the same sophisticated architecture that we have built for Arma, and that is also super exciting.
So when you first mentioned the the idea of expanding stable coins, at first I was a little disappointed, but then I thought, no, wait a minute, they figured this out. Stable coins are the first real use case of crypto across the world, and there are hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of stable coins circulating. So if they can provide a service to those people holding those stable coins, and take your fee, that's a very viable business model. And then I'm like, that's freaking genius.
And definitely, like, stable coins is not going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
What's also like it's a super fun thing for me is that unfortunately a lot of like the Web3 and DeFi products that has been built so far is very much correlated to market trends. And when the market is bullish, there's more participation. And when market is bearish, people tend to disappear. Arma is not only a great bull market product, but it's also an amazing bear market product that I think like makes it like a very unique on its own. Because when people want to go risk off and they want to go on stables, they can use Arma for extended period of times, like 2 years, 3 years, whatever that might be. And within those 3 years, the cross-chain Arma will always keep making money for them and keep placing them in the most secure, again, like personalized, profitable path. So stablecoins, super bullish on stablecoins and the impact of it. And I'm very happy that we have something for it. Overall, I am personally much more excited about specialized agents rather than generalized agents. I'm much more towards like building these specialized agentic applications rather than building launch pads of agents that don't amount to anything. So to me, that's like the winning recipe. And yeah, but there's one more thing, which is another thing that I'm excited about. Another thing that makes these agents unique is that I am personally, and this might be controversial, I am personally not so bullish on chat interfaces for financial operations. I believe people would rather use intuitive interfaces, and they want to abstract complexity even further. The chat interfaces, they operate on a like instructions to execution model, what I like to call them, where a lot of assumption is being taken, thinking that users know exactly what they want to accomplish, how they want to accomplish it. And they focus on automating predefined processes, where Giza agents and agents like Arma, they operate on an intent to outcome model, where we start with a higher user level objective, such as like I want better yields on my stablecoins, and we handle both strategy and execution, and we transfer complex decisions into simple choices. Where the prior, it takes into assumption that users must still understand protocols, understand strategies, understand blockchains, understand execution details.
Yeah.
Where for us, the user only needs to express the desired outcome. And we are much more top of the funnel, where we can serve, where we are accessible to users that are new to DeFi optimization, where we can capture users earlier in their DeFi journey, where we can expand the total addressable market beyond technical users. So that's what makes Giza agents unique. Like, it's a totally different product, and I'm extremely bullish on this product direction.
That's great. So we are heading into our last 90 seconds.
Okay.
Is there, this flew by and we have to do this again because there's a bunch more questions. But is there any alpha that you want to share with the community? And you've got 75 seconds to give it.
I think I've given significant alpha in this call. There's one like general call out that I would love to make. Like, this is every product is a living thing, and every product gets better and better the more product feedback that we get. We build our products doing usability tests constantly, like people like yourself, and we always look for product feedback. So if you are using a Giza agent, if you're using Arma, and if you have product feedback, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me on Twitter or any other platform. And if you want to build an agent that is scalable, secure, that does safe automation, please also feel free to reach out with ideas, and would love to jam.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, count me in for the next iteration of user testing. I like doing that stuff. I like the product, which is the main reason, because it literally addresses a touch point for me that I wanted to get rid of. So keep up the good work. And let's 100% do this again, maybe in 6 months, and talk about progress. Would that be good?
Wow, that would be insane. Let's see where we are in 6 months. I would love to do that.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Todd. Amazing.